exciting. Oh, there we are. Does that show what's happening then? Is that what people are seeing? All right. Welcome to our home. Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Shabbat Shalom.
We know there's a few of you out there already, and unfortunately we can't see which of you showed up. So we know that Noah, I hope you're there. You said you might be coming on tonight. And Nicole and Dan, you connected and said you were hoping to be a part of what we're doing. And Kat, Francis, all the way down in Florida, bless you. And we know that you guys were all thinking of joining us. There's all sorts of people. And I don't know if Jack and Becca and the girls are going to be able to be with us, but we'll be saying hello to a lot of you. Carolyn, you were the first to respond. Are you all the way in Malaysia? And if you are, then what time is it? It must be 7 in the morning.
7 in the morning.
So Boker Tov, good morning. Well, Shabbat Shalom.
As you can see, we're sitting in our home, and the sun is just going down here in Muskoka, Canada.
That's right.
And we have celebrated the time of breaking of bread and Shabbat all over the world, and many of our friends who are tuning in for this very first virtual Shabbat Shalom.
Yes. Shabbat Shalom.
And we welcome you to our home. And we've done something like this before. We were sitting in our
this room. We were
in
right
this very
here.
room,
yeah,
and we set up our laptop and we Skyped through to, I think it was David and Joanne Knaus
in Pennsylvania.
and we set the laptop right down on the table, and it looked like you were like inches away from the cups and plates.
Yes, so David and Joanne, if you're on tonight, bless you and Shabbat Shalom to you. So I don't know who all is there, but a lot of you said you were interested, and I talked to people, and I know some of you might be still getting home from work, but hopefully this is a beautiful time here in Muskoka. You can see that the evening sun is starting to set. It's lovely. So we're going to open up. Is it after 7 then?
It is after 7.
Well, we're going to open up with a classical Hebrew Shabbat welcome song, Hine Matov. And then we're going to share a little bit about what we're hoping will happen this evening. We're just here for about a half an hour. Please sing along with us. Hine Matov Manayim שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב ומנעים, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים גם יחד, הנה מה טוב, שבת אחים Come yachad, behold how good and how pleasant for brothers to dwell together. Behold how good and how pleasant for brothers to dwell together. How good and pleasant for brothers to dwell together. How good and pleasant for brothers to dwell together. Hine ma tovu manayim, shevet ahim gam yachad. Hine ma tovu manayim, shevet ahim gam yachad. Hine ma tov, hine ma tov. La 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 la. Hine ma tov, hine ma tov. La 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 la. Hine ma tov umanayim, shevet ahim gam yachad. Hine ma tov umanayim, shevet ahim gam yachad. All right, now I'm going to talk to you a little bit while Michael checks. There's some announcements there telling us there might be a technology problem. So I just want to say to you, this is not a performance, first of all. Here's our dining table. Here's our Shabbat dishes that we've been using for 35 years, people. That's going back quite a ways. I don't know if Mom in Vancouver is on, but if you are, you're the one who gave these to us for a wedding gift. And tonight we're going to light the candles in a few moments. But Michael, do you want to check what that notice is? Everything's fine. Okay. I saw something coming up there. So we'd like to share a little bit about what we have in mind tonight. Michael woke up with this idea about a week ago saying, let's do a live stream virtual Shabbat. And I just said, yeah. We have friends all over the world. We have them in Israel, where Shabbat is already like 3 in the morning, and Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia. Our dear friends there, actually a number of you said you were interested in showing up tonight, so I hope you're here. And for you, it's already early in the morning, as we mentioned. And of course, the United States, different time zones. We got some people in California that are watching, so shout out to you, Sterling. It's exciting. It's kind of like a big party, and what we'd like to do is a Friday night Shabbat get-together. Now, Shabbat means different things to different people. So if you've arrived here expecting a very traditional Jewish Shabbat, that's not what we're planning to give. We are going to light the candles, which is probably the only tradition I have left in my life. We are going to say a bracha over the bread and over the Magen David wine. We couldn't even get Carmel. We're in up here in northern Canada. You can only get what you can get. And so come along with us. We're sharing a journey. We're wanting to share our voice, what Shabbat means to us. It's not going to be traditional, but my hope is that you'll find it beautiful.
So the first thing we need to do, because it's starting to get dark outside, is
it is starting to get dark. Is
light the candles.
Yes.
The scriptures do not actually command us to light the Sabbath candles, even though it is said in the Hebrew prayer. But it is a wonderful thing to do. Not only does it give you light, but maybe it gives a little bit of spiritual inspiration as you're lighting the candles. So, Zipporah, why don't you light the candles, and I'll play a little bit of music, and maybe the Lord will give you a song.
Yes. So rather than do the traditional blessing, which is not really works with my meaning, I'm going to light these beautiful Shabbat candles. I like to do this, and as I do this even now, I'm setting apart this precious time. And I'm looking to the Lord. And I want to sing a prayer. So you'll excuse me if I just close my eyes and center in and bless the Lord. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Oh Lord, we come on this Shabbat to bring you praise, to lift up your name. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Oh Lord, we give you Shabbat praise, Shabbat praise. We light the candles as the darkness encroaches our world, and we sing a song of peace and love and joy to you. Oh, we sing Shabbat joy to you. Oh, we praise your holy Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom. Oh, we sing your praise. Oh, we light the way. Oh, we sing and praise in your name. In your name. Now, for those of you who have been with us together on a Shabbat, you know that that's a song that we just made up. We just listen to the Ruach and trust that something that's in our heart will come out. And that's what came out tonight. And we trust and hope you were blessed by that. We'd like to sing one of my favorite songs from the book of Isaiah, Manavu. How lovely on the mountains are the feet of him who brings good news. Your feet are lovely, people. You travel the mountains, you go different places, and you bring a song of hope. And so now we do. Manavu al ha'arim ragalecha mevasecher. Manavu al ha'arim ragalecha mevasecher. Mashumiach Yeshua, Mashumiach Shalom, Mashumiach Yeshua, Mashumiach Shalom. How lovely on the mountains are the feet of him who brings good news. How lovely on the mountains are the feet of him who brings good news, who brings the song of salvation, who brings the song of peace, who brings the song of salvation, who brings the song of peace. Manavu al ha'arim ragalecha mevasecher. Manavu al ha'arim ragalecha mevasecher. Mashmiach Yeshua, Mashmiach Shalom, Mashmiach Yeshua, Mashmiach Shalom.
Well, that is a very much loved song that we do in our schools of the prophetic harp, and all over the world. Whenever we do a school of the prophetic harp, Friday nights have always been really special to us.
Yeah,
and I think that it's something that that God himself has a great desire to sit down with us, because it says in the book of Revelation chapter 3, he says, if you open up the door, behold, he knocks, and he wants you to let him come in. And the first thing that happens when he does it, he invites you to the table to sit and have a meal with him.
Now, I just wanted to share something.
Sure.
Michael. We decided we were going to make this sort of like a normal time. We're not going to preach at you or bring a specific message, but we were talking about this very interesting thing. Both Michael and I had the same thought this week. We've both got new blogs, so we're filled with all sorts of ideas in our head. And I had written something down, but Michael didn't see it because I sent him a different blog. And then that was somewhere else, and I hadn't really done anything with it and closed that up and put it away. And then Michael came up to me and he said, you know, what we're doing tonight is a lot like Romper Room.
You grew up with Romper Room?
I grew up with Romper Room.
Did
you grow up with Romper Room? Come on. Yeah, it's a baby boomer crowd out
okay,
there.
now,
So most
if you
of
grew
you
up
grew up
with Romper
Room.
Room, I think there's
Yeah.
a place right underneath the feed that you're hearing this from that
we
you
hope
can put
so.
a little comment, and it would be nice for you to say, yes, I'm here, and yes, I grew up with Romper Room, or
Yeah.
what are you talking about?
Yeah. So if you grew up with Romper Room, then you know what I'm talking about. And I have a really special story about Romper Room. And then there's something about Romper Room that actually really speaks to
What
me.
is Romper Room for those who don't know?
Okay, for Romper Room, yikes, for those of you who don't know. That's right, there's a few of you who might be too young to be baby boomers, so that's good. Romper Room was actually on from the 1950s. Apparently it went all the way to the 1980s, maybe even later, so it was on for a long time. And it was a children's preschool type show that was on every single morning. Now, I grew up in the 1950s, and I watched it, and there was a teacher. And in my era, her name was Miss Lois, and she had a little classroom. Do you remember your teacher?
I don't remember the name,
okay.
And I was going to ask you.
Okay, no, mine was Miss Lois. And the reason I remember Miss Lois is something very special happening. With Romper Room, they would say, oh, you could, I don't know if they did this in the later years, but they'd say, you could send in a picture. You could draw something and send it in to Romper Room. So it was the first virtual interactive TV show production that I know of. And what happened is, now don't ask me why, please, this is great. Actually, go ahead, ask me, send in questions saying, why did you do that as your picture? I was about 5 years old, and the picture was I drew and then colored a bright red fire engine. Now, being a little girl, see, Michael thinks that's normal, but as a little girl, that's not normal. My favorite book was The Littlest Ballerina by Golden Books, so that really doesn't make sense. So, anyhow, I sent in my fire truck, and most of those days I was in school, but one morning, now I'm not sure, okay, just being honest, I'm not sure if Romper Room was on before I was at school, or if I was home. I think I was home with a cold. I kind of remember that. And all of a sudden, and this is what happened on Romper Room. Oh, I wish we had one. We should pull out the badminton racket. Miss Lois, or whoever was the teacher, took out what she called the magic mirror. And it looked like a badminton racket with nothing in it. No strings. And so she'd look through the magic mirror, which I was sure was a magic mirror, and that she could see us. And she'd say, just like we said tonight, you know, hi Francis, hi Rebecca, hi Nicole and Dan, the other Rebecca, Kat, Kathy, all sorts of people who are there, Noah. Just like I said that tonight and we were saying that, she would say, and she'd talk to the children, it would be Jimmy and Susan and whatever the 1950s names were, Johnny, Mary. And then she saw me and she said, and I see you, Zipporah. She saw me and I heard my name. And you have some thoughts about that. We were talking about that. And why was that so special to me?
Well, I think it's in the heart of every person to have a sense of being known and to know, to relate one to another, and to actually have this special thought that maybe there is a God who is really there, who has their email address, you know?
Well, it's that need that you're always talking about for significance.
Yes.
And it's a very legitimate need. And we're not going to go on much longer about this, but Miss Lois certainly did not represent God to me, nor did she represent the Lord. But you know, she did represent someone important, someone who has authority and value and was to be respected. And when she saw me, I guess I felt love.
Well, I think that's why.
What you're talking about.
I think that's why social
is.
media has become so strong. There's this cry in people's heart to be known. But you know the crazy thing about Facebook, you can have 1,000 friends, but not really have a close relationship with them.
Unless you do a live Shabbat Shalom.
Well, I think that this sort of works both ways, though. Sometimes you can have so many friends they don't really know you, and you don't really have a relationship with them. But on the other hand, you can use social media just like we're doing now.
Yeah.
All of our friends who are out there, who we've met in our travels all around the world, you can simply make a couple of clicks on the internet, and here you are.
We're live with you. Yeah, and actually, about a few weeks ago, Doris from Singapore commented that she'd like to fly out here to be with us for dinner, and then she saw our event and she said, oh, I wish I could be translated and be there with you. And I said, you can. Just go to the website, click on the Shabbat picture like all of you did, and you will be translated. So Doris, if you're there, and Bernard, give our love to Bernard. There's so many of you. And we're coming to the end of our half hour now. And so Michael, it's time for you to do the blessings. Now in the traditional Jewish way, the Kiddush, the blessing over the wine, is done earlier in the evening because it's the beginning of the evening and you sanctify it, and then the bread. But let's just see what Michael does, because I never know what he's going to do.
Well,
but I know
I'm hoping
whatever it is, it'll be beautiful.
I'm hoping that in the future, we are actually going to have the technology that will allow us to have two-way video communication. I'm going to be starting to give virtual harp lessons over the internet using a technology that allows you to say things to people and they can say it right back to you in kind of a forum. So I'm hoping that around the Shabbat table, as we're going to be doing this Friday nights, that we will be able to welcome our friends and actually talk to them. And
That'd be amazing.
So we're looking forward to that.
That would be amazing. And we'll get a few of you instrumentalists, harpists, and violinists to join us. And also, before we go, Michael's going to say the blessings, and then we have a final song for you. I want to, please let us know what you thought of this, and if you're going to join us next week, because if you would like to, we'd like to do this again.
Okay, so I'm going to bless the wine.
Yes.
And I love to sing the traditional...
Careful.
Oh yeah, you know what we have down here?
Yeah, puppy alert. You got to show her.
Okay. This is who has been sitting at my feet during the entire presentation.
Being a good girl.
She is our Shabbat puppy. Shekel is her name.
Yeah,
and so she's been a good girl tonight.
Good girl.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to give her a treat. Hold on.
Hold on.
Okay, I just have to do this. Okay, here you go, sweetheart. She can't believe it. She's like, I can't believe it. I'm getting a treat just for doing nothing.
All right.
There's a metaphor. Okay.
Well, let me bless the wine. And this is the traditional song that's sung as a prayer as the wine is blessed and given during a typical Shabbat meal.
After that?
Yes, I'll do that. I hope so. Yeah, I think so.
There you go.
Here we go. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pri hagafen. Blessed are you, Lord God, King of the universe, who've given us the fruit of the vine. And we thank you, Lord, that you sustain us, and that by the fact that we are, that you are the branch, and we are the branches, and you are the vine, and we abide in you. And as we are in you, we are nourished and strengthened. We want to thank you for that in the name of Messiah. Amen. And so just before we sign off, we want to break bread with you as well. And maybe in the future, when you know that we're going to be having this time together, and maybe we'll be able to have a camera that is on your computer, we can literally break bread together.
That would be amazing.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamatzi lechem min haaretz. Lord, you are the bread of life, and we thank you for that.
Amen. And we're going to share this later, and right now we're going to end with Shabbat Shalom. We're going to sing that. We're coming to the end of our time here. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom to you.
Shabbat Shalom.